Nebraska, where tonight the Ashland-Greenwood girls begin their second year under head coach Dave Hubert, and they do so against an old Nebraska Capital Conference rival, the Arlington Eagles. It's the last season for the Blue Jays to play in this storied conference, so no better way to get this season started than to open up with a big conference game. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Washburn, and I'm joined by an incredibly talented crew running the cameras tonight, running the technicals as well, is Super Junior Elliot Gosson. Of course, he had a great and outstanding cross-country season, and what a baseball player he is, and he'll be doing a lot of technicals and camera work for us tonight, bringing you those beautiful pictures. And the woman to my right, who is a former Blue Jay volleyball head coach, she's done a little bit of everything. The voice of the Blue Jays, along with Suzanne Sapp, is Kendra Craven. Kendra, it is great to have you here tonight as we open up the 2022-23 season. And I've got to tell you, last year, Coach Hubert's first season, and it was a success. They exceeded expectations, winning more than 50% of their games, over 500 for the year. And I've got to ask you here, Kendra, you had a chance to watch so many of their games, call so many of their games. What'd you learn from what you saw from a Coach Hubert coach team?
You know, the thing I saw last year was just they played with, no fear for coming off of losing a very large group of seniors. That again, it was kind of like the whole volleyball season that had played a lot, and that had played a lot since they were freshmen. A lot of the girls that were back on the court last year, minus the three seniors that we were led by, they hadn't had a lot of experience on the court. But it was amazing to see what the coaching staff and that group of girls put together. They were ready to go. Each game, I felt that they improved fundamentally within their skills and just in their confidence. You could see them game throughout the season. They didn't have any fear. They didn't walk out there with the fear. I think we talked a lot about, you could tell they didn't have the fear about losing. They just played to win. So it was fun to watch. Fun to watch.
It sure was, and it's going to be fun, we know, this year as well. But not the start that Coach Hubert wanted. Right out of the gate, he loses Jenna Grell for an extended period of time, as well as Olivia Pike, who last year was an all-conference player. She may be out for 4, 6, 8 weeks or longer. And then, of course, you've got Emma Keith, who has been battling a shoulder injury. She's going to give it a go, and she's going to play this year. But three players that really factored in to what would have been significant minutes on this team. Coach Hubert does not have them at full strength or not at all to start the season. So you've been in this coaching chair before. How does that put a crimp in the style of Coach Hubert?
It's hard to get into a flow, especially when you kind of prep. Even in the summer, coaches start preparing and taking girls, even into team camps and some of those things. And you get kind of an idea of what you think things might look like in the season and start preparing for that. But that's not really how it's going to roll already. But we also, as coaches, know that, injuries can happen. So that's why you try to get as deep as you possibly can. And I think that's what the coaching staff has really done. But yeah, unfortunate that we've got those three girls that, major contributors last year. And we're obviously been major contributors this year. And but I know that the girls, they're going to come off and they're going to adjust well. I know last week he played, 10 pretty solid in the minutes. And so now we're kind of one for one in a sense. Emma Keith is suited back up tonight. We'll see what she can do. Well, now we don't have Olivia Pike. So he's got the same numbers, but just maybe different players in different positions.
And speaking of those different players, he's going to go with a smaller lineup, guard heavy. J.C. Fangmeyer is going to get a start tonight. Paige Comstock, who started quite a bit last year, she'll be in that backcourt along with someone you know pretty well, Reagan Craven. I think I spin those around.
That's okay.
And then you've got Lauren Gertis and Bree Shefdor. So he's going small, as he said, fast, athletic. Yeah, and this is how it changes the next player up, right? They just have to be ready.
Yep, you're exactly right. And I tell you, watching Paige and JC last week in that game, those two are quick. And I will tell you, if I'm a guard of another team and if those two are around me, they would frustrate the heck out of me. I would just throw the ball down court and just to get them off of me. They are fast, and the two players down low, Lauren and Bree, they are physical. And they are going to push you, and they are going to push you, and they're going to make you earn every one of your points. So I was very impressed with the way the Blue Jays started off last week, and Craven likes to be out there, and they want her to get open. They want her to shoot the ball, and so, I think we've got a really strong chance here tonight, and I'm looking forward to this season.
You know what? It's so funny. I had to chuckle when you said if they were guarding you, you'd just throw the ball up court. I didn't see you being the type that would be afraid of anything.
Well, but I just would just quit dribbling because they're going to outrun me, so what's the point? I'll just baseball throw it to the other side, which is typically what I did because I was usually taller than most people as a guard. I definitely was slower. So I had the strength, though, so I'll just throw it up court, and I'll just wait back here on defense. Well, I think I played the Iowa offense in Hampton, Nebraska without knowing. I was just going to say, this was the old Hampton Hawk days, so I love it.
Listen, we've got a couple minutes before the opening tip. There's always so much anticipation for this opening. Tell us a little bit as a coach, how do you keep your team kind of within themselves? There's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. They're going to see things for the first time that they haven't seen in months, sometimes ever. So how, as a coach, you kind of keep them within themselves?
I think I'll take this from my daughter, Sage. They were asked the other day about their fear of playing in the national tournament. And one of the things she said, it's no different. It's a different stage. It's a different gym. But the size of the court's the same. We have people there. We always have fans here. We just do our job just like we normally do. So I think that was always the message to the girls. Just play your game. I mean, there's fans here this time, but we have focused on that. So we have worked on these goals. We have worked on the process. So we've worked on the skills. Just play your game. You're going to make mistakes. Move on. Next point. Volleyball, we always say next point in basketball. You don't have time to dwell on your mistakes in basketball because you're going to get beat on defense real fast.
Well, everyone's going to hear this in just a second. These two teams are both incredibly young. In fact, Arlington, the top 7 that they're going to play tonight, not a senior in the bunch for the Blue Jays. There is only one senior that will be getting some serious time tonight. So there's no doubt about it that these two teams, they are very youth-oriented, and as Kendra said, because of that, you can count on a few mistakes coming up early in the year as you have these two young teams that will be battling it out. But we are going to pause now as we've got a live rendition of the national anthem with some students here at Ashland-Greenwood. So we're going to pause for the playing of that.
Sexist or other intimidating comments or actions directed at the officials, students, athletes, coaches, and or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the facility. To honor America, please stand and remove your headgear as Brooke Mills, Sierra Mack, Ebony Simpson, Sadie Hobbs, Lauren Mead of the Blue Jay Choir, under the direction of Miss Lauren Boyer, sing our national anthem.
Well done. And I'll tell you, if this basketball game is done as well as that national anthem, we've got us a heck of a game upcoming. Let's take a look now at those starters. First off, for the visiting Arlington Eagles, they are 0-1 on the year. Last year finished 7-17. And here's how they will go. A hot shooting Macy Wolf. She's just a freshman. At 5'9", she'll be shooting from the corner tonight. Blue Jays going to try to stop her as Emmy Tim will join her in that backcourt. Another freshman at 5'7". And then their front court, Libby Hageman, a 5'4" sophomore. as well as Britt Nilsson. She's a sophomore, 5 feet 10 inches tall. And rounding out that starting five is Taylor Arp. She's a junior at 5'9". And for the Big Blue, we mentioned those three guards. It'll be J.C. Fangmeyer, the sophomore. She'll get her first start of the season here. Of course, the first game for the Big Blue, but I should say her first start of her varsity career. She is a 5'7" sophomore. Paige Comstock, a 5'6" junior. Man, can she play some D? And she sees the court extremely well. She'll be starting in that backcourt along with Reagan Craven, a 5'8" sophomore. She also getting her first varsity start. Lauren Gertis, she's a 5'8" junior. She'll be one of the forwards, as well as Bree Sheftor, a 5'9" junior who had a great summer and fall in conditioning work, and she gets the fifth start. So here we go, Kendra. We got a good crowd here, about half full in the Bird Cage. We're about ready to open the season.
We are ready, and I can't believe it is basketball season. I haven't transitioned yet. So
You're getting out of volleyball?
We're still in it, so I may have some volleyball verbiage, but just go with it.
I will. I'll just roll with the punches here as the Blue Jays will be working, of course, from right to left here in Ashland tonight. As, let's see, doing the honors here is going to be Bree Sheftor. You almost wondered if Gertis would do it. Gertis is a state champion high jumper, and she'll be right behind Sheftor, and Bree gets up and taps it to Gertis, and we're underway 2022-23 season. Eagles come out in that man-to-man to get things started here. They dropped a tough one Thursday night. Good ball movement here for the Big Blue early on. Both of these teams going to be patient all night long, looking for that opportunity to get a good open look. Gertis down on the right. Here's Comstock. Almost has it stolen, but a nice reverse dribble. Shot from three from Paige. Misses, but there's Sheftor. High off the glass, won't fall. Gertis with a board, and she is fouled. And that'll be the first foul for the game on either team with 7:22 into the game.
And I told you that down low our girls were going to be physical, and you know what? Bree and Lauren, 2 offensive rebounds right there.
So inbounds underneath will be Reagan. She's looking. Craven gets it into Gertis. Tries a little shuffle pass inside, but again, we got a tie-up. Jump ball will belong to the Eagles.
I have to give a shout-out to Athletic Director, Activities Director, Mr. Detterding, for bringing me a chair.
I was just going to say, where did that come from?
It actually just dropped from the ceiling.
Well, with Dieterding, if you haven't met Dustin Dieterding, this guy is chiseled, and he could have thrown it up here from the floor. Here's a missed bucket right at the rim as Macy Wolf not able to knock that down. She's a freshman. Here's a crossover dribble by Fangmeyer. Both teams opening up in man-to-man. Blue Jays planning on doing some pressing tonight. We'll see how that goes. Here's Reagan Craven. Good ball handling by the sophomore. Comstock working in, finds a wide open look by Sheftor, who bingos it home for the first one of the season.
Love to see that from Sheftor. She even had a hand in her face, but no worries there.
She was ready to shoot, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. Oh.
Coach Hubert said she has just exploded with confidence. Do they answer? They do with another three. Nicely done by Britt Nilsson.
Could probably get my program out here and help you a little bit with that.
Yeah, that'll, you know what, the way these teams are going, it's hard to catch up.
I can't see the names.
Sheftor, dribble drive off the glass, got it to fall, and the Blue Jays regain the lead at 5-3.
You know what? I think Bree came to play today. What do you think?
I like it, and Coach Hubert said, boy, the improvements she's made, and here's a nice little backdoor cut. And there's going to be a whistle and a push, I believe, on Fangmeyer. But, you know, that was one player, and yes, it is on JC, that he really said has just grown so much from her sophomore year to her junior year is Sheftor.
And she has, and I think had a good softball season too.
She did indeed, and in fact, he credited that, Kendra, as their air ball shot with a big part of the confidence building for Sheftor. And now here's Fangmeyer off the left side. She's looking inside. Look at that step through. Won't fall, and the rebound's going to come down to Taylor Arp.
I'd like to see that from Fangmeyer, too, just taking charge there. One of those will fall.
Did you get that from her mother or father there?
We'll go with her mom.
They could both play hoops.
Yes,
both of them played at Hastings College. And Now here's a nice little cut in the middle here, but it's going to be stolen away as Fangmeyer jumped that pass. Here's Paige Comstock tied up, and it should be white ball, and it is. So Blue Jays doing a good job anticipating that pass there.
Always these early ones, you always see everybody just a little bit tired to start off, but you know what? They're hanging in there. Sometimes some errors, but not too bad so far.
You just can't condition that, can you?
No.
You can't condition the real game, physicality, and now back the other way comes Paige Comstock. She's looking, little skip pass over to Fangmeyer. 3-ball, just off to the right. There's Paige on the offensive board. Comstock looking.
Oh, nice.
What a give to
Nice.
Fangmeyer.
Oh,
and
wow.
she is fouled on the way to the rim. She'll shoot 2.
Something I think when you had mentioned early on that they were going with that 3-guard set, both, all 3 of those guards, Fangmeyer, Craven, and Comstock, all see the floor extremely well. And I think everybody out watching is going to see that today.
That's such a great point. And by the way, second foul already on Britt Nielsen, so they have to get her out, and Austin Flesner will come in, the 5'7 junior. Also, Schefter is going to exit. And in for her is Presley Harms.
Presley Harms, one of the 2 seniors this year on the Blue Jays.
Good point there as that second free throw's missed. They track it down. Fangmeyer puts up off the left side of the rim, but there's Comstock again, her 3rd offensive board. Here comes Fangmeyer attacking the rim. Can't get it to fall, and the Eagles pull it out of there. Long outlet it goes. Down to Hegeman. She'll pull up. Just a little short, and there's a good board by Gertis.
I remember in the scrimmage and talking at the parent meeting, the coaches Hubert talked about, whoever gets the rebound, they can all dribble. We're just going to go.
And what a feed by Comstock into Gertis. Gertis with a good try with her left hand. Back the other way come the Eagles on the miss. And there's Harms with the rejection.
I'm tired. I'm glad I have a chair.
They are moving as Fangmeyer will go the length of the court. Her layup from the right side is good. No glass. And it's 7-3.
I would give her a foul. Put her at the line, too, but we'll take it.
I'm with you on that. As a pass backdoor is deflected by Harms. Running out of there is Craven. She'll dump it off to Fangmeyer, and a good start here by Coach Hubert.
It is.
Lobs it in to Harms. She looks, gives it up, and a dump shot there. Beautifully done by the Blue Jays by Gertis. A beautiful dump off by Harms, and it's a 9-3 lead, Big Blue.
Wow. If we're going to do this the whole game, this is going to be kind of fun.
And remember, he's doing this with several players that would contribute in minutes.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of start Coach Hubert could only be really, really thankful for. And I got to ask you, Kendra, in this, what have you seen early on here? I mean, the movement and the pace just seems like something that we haven't seen from the Blue Jays.
Yeah, exactly. It's I love the fact that, just as we talked about, I think some of our teams in the past, some girls have rebounded, they've waited to find that outlet before anybody takes. These girls just get it. They have confidence. They just go. And, we're seeing from everybody out there the confidence to shoot, the confidence to drive, the confidence to look. Their eyes are up. It's fun to see right now.
It's going to be so much fun, too, once Arlington, the Blue Jays have a chance. Here we go. We've got that full court pressure. And Coach Hubert has talked about this. This time he just went straight man-to-man, but he's got a little game plan on his pressure that we'll talk about here as the game gets going. And nearly stolen by Fangmeyer. Arlington just having a hard time getting in their set, aren't they, Kendra?
Yes. And during that timeout, it's hard to see, but the 5'6 junior Jada Laughlin checked in for the Blue Jays.
And now we've got a whistle and a foul on one of the Blue Jays. And they're going to whistle it on J.C. Fangmeyer. And I believe that's her second. It is.
It is.
J.C.'s come out here just on fire, hasn't she?
She has. Yes. Very confident, just taking charge out there, and I love to see it.
Off the miss, Blue Jays trying to track it down. There's Fangmeyer. She rips it out of there. They're going to say jump ball. And Coach Hubert's going to get Craven in, I believe, for Fangmeyer here with her second foul.
What I love about that is some girls maybe would have shied away from that, worried about possibly picking up a third foul, going after jump ball. You never know, right, on jump if they're going to call jump. JC didn't care. She's just playing aggressive. She's going after it. Love it.
She
Love
is
it.
indeed. Boy, offensively, she has the eyes for the rim right now. And back the other way come the Eagles, down 6. Tim from 17 will knock it down. That's a little step back, huh?
Wow.
Emmy Tim makes it a 4-point lead, Big Blue.
She related to Brady by chance?
And here's the inbounds to Harms, off the glass, nothing there, and the Eagles will track down that loose basketball.
Good shot by Harms. Good shot selection.
Tim gets it out. Here's a shot put up by Flesner that knocks it home. We've got a 2-point game.
Oh, I didn't see anybody taking the ball out back there at first. I thought, well, I guess the cheerleaders are going to inbound is what I was thinking for a second.
That's the early part of the season, right? Someone forgot to help Paige Comstock out. They're going to get it down on a block and a reach around, coming behind and over the back there of the offensive player, Austin Flesner. And so that'll be her first foul. I got to remember, too, Kendra, this is our opener, too.
Yeah, just the Hall of Fame game, which we'll talk about how long that first half took.
And I was not there for that, but the Blue Jays won with 0.6 seconds on the clock, hit a couple of free throws. We'll talk about how important that was as Laughlin is fouled as she gets hit from behind by Haley O'Daniel. And
nice job.
Fourth team foul on Arlington. Go ahead.
Jada had to hold her ground there. She was getting pushed and still took it up strong and drew the foul.
And, boy, we've got a couple of track stars on this team as Laughlin's first free throw is up and good. To make it 10-7, you got Laughlin, who's great at track. You've got, obviously, Gertis, who won a state championship in the high jump.
And Harms, I think this track would be her sport of choice if she had to pick one, I think.
And the second's missed, but there's Schefter, who got through on the offensive board in the putback.
Wow, she's here. Oh, we got to get back, though.
And that's a turnover for the Eagles. And it's now 12-7 Big Blue, and they'll have the basketball.
Little break there for the Blue Jays because they had two back already under their basket. We had none, but they threw it out of bounds, so we better be ready for that.
And here's some full court pressure by the Eagles as Comstock will walk it up. She gets across the timeline and looks for some help. Craven thought about it. And this is someone who can really shoot. Coach Hubert said, boy, he loves how Reagan can shoot the basketball. Here's Comstock, open three, just a little short. Who's going to come up with it? Eagles do. Aaron pass, can it be tracked down? It does. Nice rebound in there by Emmy Tim. And here comes the Blue Jays. They get a trap in the backcourt. They're going to call a reach, though.
I like what the Blue Jays are doing. You know, they're attacking the basketball and they're, setting up traps, but just need to stay clean. We don't need to reach and slap. Just stay where. If they would have just stayed where they were, they would have been fine.
That is such a great point because they had Arlington a little befuddled there, tracking down that loose ball. But the reach on Laughlin, that is the third team foul on the Big Blue. And they'll kick it back. Here's a three ball by the Eagles that will not fall, and tracking it down is Craven.
Whoa.
And it's just ripped out of her hands. They kick it back up to the top of the key to Wolf, the freshman. Now, this is something with Macy Wolf you got to watch. She loves the corner shot. Coach Hubert did some scouting, said, we're going to try to do everything we can to prevent that shot from not being contested. And they've got Wolf down in the corner, but instead they go to the rim, and they'll get fouled on the way.
Talk about another player, this Emmy Tim, freshman guard. Tell you what, she's not scared to take the ball to the hoop and take charge at all either. Wow.
Yeah, a little foul trouble here too, Kendra. We've got two guards now as J.C. Fangmeyer is already on the bench with her second foul. Reagan Craven just got her second. Here's the free throw. It's up and it's good for Emmy Tim. But you're right. No seniors from Arlington in the game. Blue Jays just have one. These are going to be some good games over the next few years as that second free throw is good by Tim.
And we were talking about numbers and injuries at the beginning, and, we just have, right now we're playing 7 consistently, and we've got 3 more, but we're also playing a quarters game now, but we don't have a C team game, so we've got enough quarters, but we don't have a ton of players that if we get in major foul trouble.
With the foul troubles, without a doubt, Coach Hubert scratching his head a little bit, trying to put together this lineup. And he's got it down to Schefter, and then they'll reset the offense. We're under 30 seconds to go now here in the first quarter. Blue Jays up 3 in the opener of the 2022-23 season. There goes, you hear Coach Hubert, if the crowd might pick him up, saying, take your time. He wants them to go for one, even though they're attacking the hole a little bit.
Oh.
And that went off the hands,
wow.
I believe, of Paige Comstock. She got knocked to the ground, but no whistle. And Arlington will have it with 7.5 seconds.
It's this game's gotten really rough, I will tell you. It's a little bit different.
And so here we go in the backcourt. With 7.5 seconds, they got to move quick. Tim gets it down court. We're going to have a whistle on a travel.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to step through that time. That was Haley O'Daniel. But the Blue Jay with good D.
Yeah, that's what in those last minute seconds to not let them get a shot off. So now we got another chance.
Kendra, what do you do here with 1.2? You got to really lead them up the court, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's a dangerous pass.
Oh.
But Comstock, she hurdles it up. But it'll be a little bit short. So after one quarter, the Blue Jays get out quickly. They lead 12-9, Kendra, in this game against Arlington. Your thoughts on that first quarter?
You know, that was a lot of fun. You know, I saw a lot of good passes from the Blue Jays. Nice job of just seeing the court, rebounding, just aggressive, girls not being afraid of taking the ball to the bucket. You know, but I'm actually surprised to see the score. I feel like we're outplaying them, but then again, credit to Arlington is they're fast. They get back. Tim, the guard, she takes it to the hole, and you know, so it seems like the score shouldn't be as close as it is, but Arlington is just hanging in there too. It's going to be a barn burner.
It is. This is going to be a fun one. Now, speaking of fun ones, tonight at 8 o'clock, Sage Craven is going to be playing in a national championship quarterfinal in the NAIA. She plays for Midland, defensive specialist on the varsity squad.
Right.
This is going to be pretty fun tonight for you and the family.
Yeah, it'll be pretty fun. It's been a fun week. Nationals officially started on Tuesday, and they've played one game throughout this week. And last night they had a 3-way tie in their pool, and you can't get out just based on points, so you had to do a playoff. So they had to play a one-set playoff to advance out of their pool, and they won. And we played at like 10:15 last night.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what? So congrats to them. But I don't know if you heard, but, you know, these late nights and these games, tonight, of course, you play at 8. You'd be happy to get out there at 10:15, wouldn't you?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'll take it. So, yeah, a lot of fun.
Here we go to start the second quarter. But, Sage, if you're listening, good luck tonight. That's going to be a big one. The Ashland-Greenwood alum doing great things at Midland. And now here's a quick reach-in to start this second quarter. And they're going to call that on Emmy Tim, which is her first. 5th team foul on the Eagles.
And she's sticking really close to Paige.
That has been a good matchup tonight as Gertis tries to make a move to the rim, but it's ripped out of her hands, and now they pass it down court quickly. Try to beat that Blue Jay defense down, and they do.
Wow.
Here's a great layup and an attack by Britt Nilsson.
Yeah, a little just miscommunication on that defense, and Blue Jays knew it right away, but they'll adjust.
Fangmeyer almost has it stolen with that little crossover dribble in front of the defender, and Presley Harms, who starts the second quarter, will track down that pass. Fangmeyer, long 3 ball, in and out. And there's Comstock with her 5th rebound off the glass. She gets it again, puts it back, misses that one. And now it looks like we're going to have a reach or a tie-up. We've got a tie-up, and possession arrow goes to Arlington.
You know, I love seeing Paige in there. You know, last year I remember all of us thinking, like, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And she's already just I think just another year knowing that she's one of the leaders on this squad, just coming out and taking charge.
I'll tell you, she just got in a bit of a hurry, didn't she, on those? Great job hitting the boards. I think, Kendra, she's got 6 offensive boards, I believe. Here's a little pick and roll, the old-fashioned, and they missed the bunny. And now we got a whistle. What do we have here? It's going to be jump ball, possession arrow, Big Blue.
I don't know. It's looking like WWE wrestling underneath the basket right now.
You know what? It's getting physical, isn't it? And
yeah.
Blue Jays will have to bring it up now. I think Arlington's a little confused. No, they aren't. I thought they were thinking, some of their girls, I thought that they had the basketball underneath the rim on the possession, but Blue Jays get it up. Craven looking inside to Gertis. Blue Jays going to be patient in their half court. They're up 1. Here's a pass down on the block. Gertis trying to work against 3, and it's
I knew that
going to call 3 seconds. And you had called that earlier tonight.
Yeah, I saw it earlier, and they didn't call it yet, but I'm like, I knew this was coming.
Yeah, you gave me a little nudge early on.
Yeah.
I said, keep an eye on this. And so back the other way come the Eagles. They can take the lead. As up front, the freshman, Macy Wolf. Really good three-point shooter. She will hand the ball off. They'll work it with a good left-handed dribble by Emmy Tim. She's also a freshman, folks, if you're watching this. Both their freshmen handle the ball extremely well. And they'll hand off here on the right wing. Blue Jay defense being disciplined. They get it down on the block here. Blue Jays Gertis with good defense. There's Craven with the steal, but she just got a little excited, took an extra step before she put the ball down.
It'll be interesting to see what happens down here, down low on defense here. I think with Gertis and them on the post, they're really kind of watching down low too and things. So we'll see how this kind of plays out in the fouls.
Both teams staying in that man-to-man. There's another pick that they tried to get the Blue Jays on. It's worked a few times earlier tonight, but not that time. Blue Jay defense really picking it up. 12-11 the score here midway through the first quarter. Make that first half. Blue Jays up. Here's a little crossover by Tim. Really good job by Comstock, though, huh, Kendra?
Yes, she has. Those two, I'm tired watching those two go at it.
Here's a little dump-off pass, and the shot missed, and there's Craven. Rips down the board and hands it off to her Blue Jay colleague. She'll bring it up here in Gertis. Coach Hubert up, barking to his team. They'll skip it around. Gertis with good dribble penetration. This is very good work here by the Blue Jay offense. They're keeping it going. They're making some good crisp passes. There's Gertis. She looks at a three, make that chef door. Fangmeyer with a dribble drive, and they're going to call a whistle, and she'll go to the line to shoot two.
I'm not sure who picked up that foul at the 20. Okay.
They're going to call that an Austin Flesner, her second, sixth team foul, but this will be 2 shots here for J.C. Fangmeyer. But J.C., if they come out on her, she's going to show, I mean, she's shown them tonight. She'll go to the rim, and here is her first free throw. She's now 1 of 3 from the line tonight, and the Blue Jays up 2. We didn't get to see a lot of J.C. last year because she had a hip injury.
Yep.
So she joined the team, early January?
Yeah, I think so. A little too long. It felt like we had to wait for her for a long time to get, and then even coming back, it was a slow process. Obviously, she had to take it easy, and then just getting back into condition because she had to literally sit out. Then it was just kind of walking and just little steps to get back in it. So it's nice to have her right off the bat.
That is the first foul, by the way, on Gertis. And Fangmeyer will take a seat. In the game comes Laughlin. Coach Hubert doing the best he can to keep everyone fresh here in this game. And here comes this full court pressure. Let's see what Coach Hubert wants. Again, straight man-to-man. He runs something called a jump and run, but he hasn't really instituted that yet as they dump it off down on the block. Shot up and good, and we've got a tied game as Haley O'Daniel ties it up.
And that's what Arlington's doing well is, we're going in and helping on that defense, and then they're dumping it off to that next player, and we haven't quite figured that out yet.
Comstock off the glass. She's knocked to the ground by O'Daniel, but no whistle. And there, Page gets a bucket.
Great play there.
Freshman with a crossover, dumps it off, and there's a 3-ball. Look out, Kendra. Britt Nielsen with her 8th point of the night.
Man, that was a beautiful shot by Britt.
Caught it and was ready to go. She didn't hesitate. And Arlington now leads 16-15. Their first lead of the night with 3:40 to go here as Emma Keith in the game. They find a wide open Laughlin down the block, and she's fouled as Macy Wolf got her from behind, and that was definitely miscommunication for Arlington.
Yeah, their entire coaching staff at the same time stood up because they saw our wide open girl, and they're like, "Wow!" And they knew, but hey, we know how that feels. It's happened on our end too.
You can lose them real easy as Laughlin's first free throw is up and good. Jada now 2 for 3 from the line, and she ties it up at 16. Laughlin eyes it a little too hard that time, and there comes the board down to Nielsen. Nielsen will give it off to Tim. She's running. Page does a good job defensively, backpedals, stops her, and they dump it off to Nielsen again. They'll play a little catch out top. Boy, Comstock's defense has just been nails, hasn't it?
Yes. Again, we talked about that early on in the broadcast. I don't want her and JC around me.
And there's a whistle and foul. I think this could be on Harms, as they got a good entry pass into Nielsen. Schefter is going to check in.
Nope, Gertis.
Oh, my apologies there. I get those two mixed up, don't I?
Well, they were both around the ball, so it was kind of hard to tell who they were going to give it to.
Oh, you're talking about on the foul there.
Yeah, on the foul.
Yes. And here's the first free throw. And it's in and out. Now Schefter checks in. And out will go Gertis.
Can we restart the fouls at half?
Yes. You mean to take them to 0?
Yeah, like not the team fouls, but the personal ones, not the team ones.
Because I was going to say team fouls, yes, for sure. Here comes the second one. Boy, it gets quiet now. I feel like I should whisper, yeah.
I know that. I feel
Here's up and good. Just waiting for that first person to clap, Kendra. 17-16. Arlington regains the lead here, 3 minutes to go. And there's Comstock working hard against Tim, and Tim pickpockets her. And she'll hit the right-handed layup, and she's fouled by Paige. And that might have been a little frustration on behalf of Paige there.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it was. And kind of where we're at with fouls and the number of players we have probably need it, but I guess it was just her first, so I'm feeling a little bit better about that.
Yeah, that's right. Those 3 guards that started, Fangmeyer with 2, Paige now with 1, and we got a timeout on the court. And also that third guard, Reagan Craven with 2. So that 3-guard lineup right now, got to really watch those fouls. And the Blue Jays down 19-16, so a little momentum swinging on behalf of Arlington. What's made the difference here for the Eagles?
I think that they, early out they were running and everything, but they just had some passes that, they were just a little sloppy, I would say. Obviously first game things happen, and now some of those things are starting to work for Arlington. They're starting to execute, and so now the Blue Jays kind of find themselves definitely on the defense a little bit more, and then we're actually committing some fouls maybe that we shouldn't, and out of frustration and things like that. So,
well, this Emmy Tim is tough, and Kendra, you've done a great job of really chronicling this tonight between Tim and Comstock. These are 2 terrific guards. They've been battling all game, and now Emmy Tim trying to give the Eagles a 4-point lead on this free throw. She is 2 of 2, make it 3 of 3.
I would have to think that, well, I guess you said Brett Nielsen. She's a sophomore, right? Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Nielsen is a sophomore. You got Flesner, who's a junior. Hegeman, a sophomore. The Blue Jays will face more pressure here. O'Daniel, a sophomore. Tim, a freshman. And Wolf, a freshman. And there's going to be, good call. As Schefter leaned, if you saw it on camera, she leaned in to the offensive player for Arlington. She's got to stay straight as a statue. And the official caught her on it.
Yep, I think she thought she did, but I think when she watches it again on camera, she'll realize she didn't.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. For me, I have a hard time standing straight up. I lean all the time. So here we go, 4-point lead. Arlington after the foul. And there's a whistle and I think a hand check on Presley.
Man, girls, we've just got to move our feet and start playing some defense. Just cheap fouls here.
And that will send the Eagles to the line, and this is going to be Haley O'Daniel shooting. Actually, yes, this will be a 1-and-1. Just the 9th team foul on the Big Blue. And that's going to go off the right side of the rim. And there's Harms. She skies, and then I thought they were going to call a foul. They say jump ball, tie up, and that'll belong to the Eagles. So the Blue Jays trying to do everything they can to kind of stop this momentum for Arlington.
Yeah, I see just a couple, like you said, kind of back to just a little bit of frustration on the Blue Jays' faces, but, takes one good shot to get out of that. Oh.
Here's a miss, but a putback alertly done by Flesner. Missed her first shot, but she chased it down. Blue Jays with their biggest deficit tonight, 22-16. And they get a good feed into Harms on the block. They doubled right away, and they rip the ball out of her hands. There's Wolf.
Yeah, anytime we get it down there, they are double teaming, so the girls need to make a quick decision on what they're going to do.
Emma Keith steps in front of the pass. Left-handed dribble, back to her right, layup too hard. And there's a rebound coming down to the Eagles. That was Arp.
We talked earlier how she's supposed to dribble with her left hand, and she did, but I think she thought, I'm not shooting this with my left hand, so she went to her right.
And that's got to be uncomfortable. She is certainly playing uncomfortable with that right shoulder and trying to do as much as she can with that left hand, but that time kind of forced to use her right. And here's a bounce pass down the other way to Arlington, and it goes out of bounds off of Arp. It'll be Blue Jay ball, and the Blue Jays needed that turnover.
Yes, they did. Now we need to get a bucket here.
Gertis in, out goes Harms, Craven in. We got 6 on there, and there goes Schefter. She'll exit. So let's see who brings it up. Page, JC, or Craven. They're going to get it in to Fangmeyer. Back to Page. She'll bring it up against him. This has been a good battle all night, these two. Good crossover by Comstock. She creates some room, goes to the right side now. Here comes Gertis, a pull-up jumper that won't go, and the rebound down to the freshman, Tim.
Nice move by Gertis. Nice idea. Just kind of too short, aim for the front.
They work it around here to the Eagles, up 22-16. Good entry pass. Could have called a travel on Wolf.
Yep.
Turnaround, tough shot, and there's Comstock. Page, a little skip dribble, and then she'll get it off top here to Keith. Keith, no one picks her up. Why not? She's going to be fouled, goes to the floor hard, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, not only are we going to have to save our fouls, we're going to have to save our bodies.
Getting physical. These two teams getting after it. 56.8 seconds to go here in the first half. So Emma Keith, she's going to try this left-handed, and her shot is up, and it is no good off the right side of the rim.
Tell you what, that is a good left-handed shot. Mine would not look even close to that. How about yours, Elliot? Would you look close to that?
Absolutely not.
I thought he was going to say yes because I am left-handed. That's what I was actually waiting for.
Well, she's shooting left-handed because, again, that injury to the right shoulder. And look out, and I agree with you. How much better is her left hand going to be coming out of this injury? And she makes it a 5-point game. And you're right, Kendra, that is some nice touch.
That was beautiful.
Coach Hubert said, he just said to her, you got to start working on that left hand. And, boy, she's taking it to heart. And you saw the payoff there. We're under 43 seconds to go. Here's a dribble drive, and up off the glass. Nicely done by the Eagles as Hageman was probably fouled, no call. And the Eagles up 7. And, boy, the Arlington fans, they're letting the officials know about that one.
Yeah, they're not happy there.
Back they come to Schefter. Ball fake. She gets in the paint, doesn't like it. See if the Blue Jays now hold it for 1 as we're at 16 seconds to go. Craven. Yeah, Blue Jays will settle for 1 now. We're under 10. Here comes Craven. Reagan in. Has it stripped. Can she get it? Yes, she does. Tries to find J.C. Fangmeyer, and it went off the body there of Haley O'Daniel with 2.2 to go on the clock.
Well, that's one way to get yourself out. Just throw it off of someone's foot. Not intentionally.
Apologies there. I stepped on you. Sean Ross up, barking here from the sideline for the Big Blue. Here's the inbounds to Fangmeyer. She'll put up a 3-ball, just a little short. So the Eagles dominate there that second quarter, and they now take a 24-17 lead heading into halftime. And again, I asked you this earlier, Kendra, what was the difference for the Big Blue in the second quarter versus the first?
You know, I think our defense kind of shut down. So to me, what it looked like is when we were doing we had have girls that looked like they were going to help and pick up on defense, and then maybe they dropped off, and then the girl just kept going, or we try to bail out, and then we get a foul. So I think, to me, there was just some miscommunication on the defense and how we were going to do that, if we were going to help or not, and then just had to then commit some cheap fouls and things like that. So just some easy things. I don't think it's anything major. Overall, I think we did, well. We had some really good shots, some good looks at the basket, but they just didn't fall. So
here's the deal. I'm supposed to have Tyler Craven here at halftime, so I called him. And I see him. He's working all of his assistant coaches. So he finally talks Jordan Scheil into coming up here. So first off, you see where we rate. They're all like, I don't want to go up. You want to go up?
Are we like, what's wrong with us?
Well, we're going to – that's going to be the first point of emphasis here in this halftime interview.
I mean,
they win a state championship, and then they can't come up and talk to the local broadcasters. Here we go. Let's see what Jordan Scheil has to say. Jordan, It is so good to have you up here as you work that microphone. And, buddy, here's the thing. We saw what happened down there.
Yeah, we totally did.
We called Tyler, Coach Craven. He says, I'm not going up there. And Skrdla says no, and Appleby says no, and you got the short straw, so you had to come up here. What's going on?
I think it was nose goes, and I was the last one to kind of react to it, so I guess I got to be a little quicker on the draw next time.
Well, we love having you. It's great to have you. And you know what? After you guys won a state title, we just figured you'd be running up here because you have a lot to talk about. And this game kicks it off for you. The Arlington Eagles, a conference foe. And, you know, I think one of the things that I'm really curious about, and we're going to have you do
can
that.
we turn that?
Oh,
that?
there we go. Yep, here we go.
You're good.
One of the things that we really want to talk to you about is there's so many things to look at, but you lost 3 great senior leaders a year ago. Tell us a little bit about what it's like and what you've seen from these seniors this year and this entire team. Who's going to step in that void?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, we lose a lot from last year, a lot of talent from that team, but you know, the kids worked really, really hard this summer. They put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, kind of figuring out those new roles. I think it's going to be a team approach, a collaborative approach. So just kind of everybody, you know, how can we expand our role a little bit to make the team a little better in the long run?
There we go. I finally got you right, buddy. That sounds good. You come into Arlington tonight. One of the other things that you got to do is you're taking on a team tonight that goes 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Max Parker was kind of your big brute in the middle. He did a beautiful job of playing that role a year ago. Tell me a little bit about the guys that have to step up and handle this size tonight.
Yeah, like you said, they're going to play through the post a lot. They're going to run a continuous ball screen offense where they look to kind of get that high-low action, one post to the other post. So, you know, it's going to be a team approach. You know, we're going to front the post. We're going to be up on the ball screens, hedging those hard, just kind of deterring what we can. And, you know, they're good players, but just limiting them to one shot also, you know, making sure we get a body on them, boxing them out every time so that they only got that one look.
So tell me about the personality of this team. I mean, it's always different every year when you have a senior class go out, new class come in. How would you describe the personality of this team?
You know, just last year they kind of learned how to be winners. So, you know, kind of just building off of that, you know, playing off of each other, being unselfish. I think that's the coolest thing about this team is that there's so many guys that are so good individually, but with how unselfish they are, they're that much better as a team because of their unselfishness.
And, Jordan, I want to turn this over here to Kendra. I know she's got a couple questions for you as well.
I think to play off of that just a little bit, it's kind of a little bit different in girls sports when you see, you know, you have softball, cross country, volleyball, and you take all 3 of those to kind of form one basketball team here, where football you come off cross country, and then is there golf, I think, a little bit, and then put basketball here together, and then but some of them go off to wrestling, right? So you've got some players that didn't do anything in the fall. And then again, kind of losing those seniors and putting things back together. So what is it like then to kind of bring in the ones that maybe didn't do some things this fall with some of them that had teammates that were out on the football field or cross country? And what's that like to bring that whole team together to now play for a winter season?
Well, I think it's really cool how some of our best players in basketball were also some of the big contributors in the football season and things like that. So I think that's really cool how it speaks to just how they are able to contribute to so many different teams. And I think like at small schools especially, if basketball is your favorite sport, that's great, but how can you help your classmates who football is maybe their favorite sport? Because then the idea is vice versa, right? Those guys who football is their favorite sport, they're going to help the basketball team out as well. And then as far as this fall goes, like those guys that didn't play a fall sport, they've been working like crazy, right? They were playing open gyms 2 times a week. And that's great. Everyone loves the playing, but the skill work on top of that they put in, they put in a lot of hours. So it's going to be cool that, you know, hopefully you see those hours reward them kind of in the season time now. So.
Yeah, and I would say I even just a little bit last week at just the Hall of Fame game, you know, just even with Dawson Teese being one that didn't see a lot of the floor of the varsity floor last year. You know, I saw that even just in that first game. I told you, I almost said match. I'm still in the volleyball season.
That's okay. We
would
would have given you a pass on that, but that's
we could have said match, and then you would have followed up with up, match up, right?
You know,
well, yeah. Go ahead, talk about Dawson because I think she makes a great point on that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of in my JV last year. I saw Dawson do that every single game. You know, there was multiple games where he's putting up 10 points, but like multiple games where he was getting us 10, 15, 20 rebounds actually in a couple of games.
Wow,
So, we were blessed last year where we got to see that, and he got to put in that hard work, and he kind of just waited and bought his time until now he gets to show it on the big stage, right? So he's a kid that has a huge motor. He's constantly going, and it's awesome to see that rewarded hopefully this season, all that hard work.
That's awesome. That's awesome to see that too. And Jordan, credit to you for building that in the the JV, because that's what it's all about. I mean, it starts and you got to kind of wait sometimes until it's your turn, and now it's time. So that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're speaking of JV, we're going to get you one more question, get you out of here. But you're the head coach of the junior varsity program. You already got a victory tonight. Talk a little bit about your JV team this year.
Yeah, this year it's a little bit different, whereas like last year we had a lot of the older guys who had already kind of like done the thing a little bit, and they came in and did a great job. This year our team's a lot younger, right? So it's going to be a lot of ups and downs and, just riding that course so that we can stay on the trajectory that we want, just getting better every day and just learning from each other, right? And that's the beauty of it. I got a lot of help down at that level, a lot of guys that know a lot about the game. So that's awesome to have as well. Scudler, Appleby, all those guys, they do a really good job of doing the best they can to help the kids. And I think the kids are really receptive and appreciative of that.
So you head back to those assistant coaches and you say, hey, it wasn't that bad.
Actually, no. I'm going to take it a step further. You raised the bar really hard.
That is
Ashland-Greenwood raising the bar. You set the bar really high. So because of the fact that they didn't go first, like, they can't even surpass you, Jordan. Like, Coach Schile, they might as well just take the season off.
You tell Tyler Craven he's on broadcasting probation now.
Got
he passes up. So.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
Hey, you bet. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks.
Jordan Schile, an absolute future star in the coaching ranks. Of course, his mother was an incredibly successful basketball coach as well, and he's on that, obviously on that bench for the Blue Jays, and that means it's time for Mark Adele. Mark, what do those numbers look like?
Well, in plain, simple English, the reason we're behind is because we're not shooting the ball well.
Yeah, that's right.
6 of 20 from the field, 30%. Just 1 of 7 from 3. And Coach Hubert's offense is predicated around the three-point shot, and we just haven't been making them the first couple games. Just 4 of 10 from the line for 40%. Arlington is 9 of 17 for 53%. A lot of that is due to shot selection on their part. They're 2 of 4 from 3, 50%. They're 4 of 6 from the line, 67%. We have, despite the fact that a shooter would say we got no head toppers, we've been doing a pretty good job rebounding the first 2 games. 13 for us and 7 offensive. They have 9, 1 offensive. Turnovers, we'd like to turn it over a little bit less. Second quarter got bit by the turnover bug. We got 9 and they got 6.
Hey, Mark, real quick, do you have the individual rebounding number for Paige Comstock?
5.
She's got 5. They're all offensive, aren't they?
3 offensive, 2 defensive.
Okay, thank you, Mark Adele. Thank you so much for
She
coming
got
up.
10 against Burke. You would not guess that she was our top rebounder.
Yeah, well, after watching tonight, thank you, Mark. Mark Adele, after watching her tonight, we might believe that because she has been awfully good. Thank you, partner. Don't lose your glasses there. You got them? Okay. All right. So thanks to Mark Adele for coming on and, of course, giving us those stats, and we'll get Elliot mic'd up as we get ready now to start this third quarter. The Blue Jays down 24-17 after what was a wonderful first quarter start. But as Mark just detailed, the shooting has been a little bit woeful here for the Big Blue at 30%, and they'll work on that here in this third quarter. And here's a good bounce pass to Gertis, as the Blue Jays will have Gertis Craven. There's Fangmeyer. Comstock. Fangmeyer for 3, just a bit short, and the rebound coming down to Arlington. And running they go. And then a 2-step jump stop, and they kick it out. Get it down on the block. Turnaround jumper's blocked. Arp tried to get that shot over the Blue Jay defender, but really good D.
And the Blue Jays looking to run.
Yep, and there's a little block there by Tim, and it would be great. Yes. And it would be great to see, if you're a Blue Jay faithful, to see Emmy Tim get into foul trouble. That is her 3rd. She has been spectacular for Arlington. And here's a little entry pass down to Paige. Ball deflected, as you heard Kendra say that.
I liked where that play was going, had it not been deflected.
That was going to be an open jumper, wasn't it? Here's a little backdoor cut by
Love it.
Fangmeyer, and Page finds her for the assist. Fangmeyer in the bucket. It's 24-19.
Love that play right there with Figmeyer and Comstock.
And can Comstock get the steal? No, but Tim for the first time tonight. Here's a little adjustment here by Coach Hubert. He played straight man-to-man full court defense or full court pressure. Now he comes out to start the third and immediately traps Emmy Tim. And she had a little bit of frustration. Now he backs off in that man-to-man. So maybe we'll see a little change here in defensive strategy. There is Arp. You've got Arp, you got Hageman. There's Emmy Tim. Macy Wolf is starting. And the fifth starter out there is Britt Nielsen. 5-point lead for the Eagles here, early third. Good defense by the Big Blue, and Arlington going to be careful. As Nielsen will work in there against Schefter, they kick it top of the key. Here's a drive by Emmy Tim. The freshman will get the roll.
You know, and that's a tough one. I mean, nice job by Emmy Tim because she just went right at three girls that have 2 fouls, and I don't know.
Yeah, that is a really nice move. She has got a bright future, does Emmy Tim.
Yes.
Here's an entry pass now back out to Page. Good job by Tim getting on her quickly. Craven might need to take that. The way she shoots. But Coach Huber might want them to get a little deeper in this possession. And now we got a whistle and a reach on Libby Hageman.
Huh.
And so that will be the first on Hageman, the second team foul here in Arlington in the second half. Blue Jays trying to get their offense going a little bit here. It came out firing in the first quarter, Kendra, but then the second, it kind of got bogged down a little bit. Just had 5 points. Here's a shot put up and no, I thought it was through. I thought it was through, Kendra. Here comes Craven for the three, in and out, and the board coming down to Hageman. I thought that went right through the net. Did it miss everything?
It did, but it was so hard to tell. I tell you what, it sucks getting old, folks. I tell you.
Oh, I need some of that Prevagen or whatever it's called they advertise on TV. We got a whistle to block. I was ready for the bingo. I was going to call the bingo, but it wasn't a bingo.
The bingo was a no-go.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is our opener as well. And so,
oh, boy.
Elliot, you ready to take over here for me? I'm struggling a little bit.
I don't think I'm ready yet.
We might need some binoculars. Can you put that in the stripe basket next time, please?
Yes. Here comes the three ball the other way. And that one I know missed. And
I was going to help you out on that one if you needed it.
It's Fangmeyer. Pull up. Three ball. No good off the front of the rim. And there's the board coming down here. And a foul's going to be called on Gertis. It's got a little aggressive.
Yeah, those are the fouls that we just don't need to commit. The rebound was clearly already in Arlington's hands. Like, just get back and play defense, you know, and now Gertis has 3 fouls for just, unnecessary things. The Blue Jays, we need to just clean that stuff up.
It's a big foul here as the Blue Jays going with a little different full court pressure, trying to trap. Will they run and jump? No. They come out of that, and Arlington with that 7-point lead with the basketball. Beautiful backdoor cut by Wolf. A little short on that jumper. And the rebound to Gertis, and she rips the ball away, but they're going to say it is a jump ball, and it will go to Arlington.
That was a great backdoor cut again by them. Presley Harms was right there on defense, so much better job on help by the Blue Jays.
Here comes the inbounds. Blue Jays with good D. Gertis was so close, she almost got her fourth. They get it down on the block. This is Art, loses the basketball. Can Keith come up with it? What about Gertis? And again, we've got a kind of a.
Oh, she's going to get it.
And they're going to call a technical on Gertis.
Yeah, I had a feeling that one might be coming.
Yeah, she got a little bit overly aggressive on that tie-up. And so that will be a foul as well. And, of course, the official is going to come over and talk to Coach Hubert.
So we're going to say there was a jump ball. And then they're going to. Okay, so jump ball is disregarded, they said, and then a technical foul on Gertis, so that will now be her 4th. That's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. And the officials just disagreeing with Coach Hubert. You heard him say, despite what happened, this is what happened. So I guess that's his way of saying, at the end of the day, I've got the call.
Yeah. I'm going to try that sometime. Despite what happened, this is what happened.
Yes. So at the line here, shooting these technicals, the jump ball, as Kendra said, will be disregarded. So here comes the first free throw. And it's put up, and it'll be missed. And I have to be honest, little surprised. Certainly Gertis was a little overly aggressive on that, but maybe a technical, maybe how about a foul?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know actually the rules. This is where we need Jordan Walden, not this. Usually, I think is there a warning? I mean, has there been communication about maybe some of this before? And maybe there has been. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, nothing was said, So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
so.
and what if you missed it, folks, and just joined us? They called a technical on Gertis as she was tied up with a player from Arlington, kind of ripped through, and when she ripped those arms through, they said she committed a T. So Arlington will get it up 9, and then here's a shot by Arp that's blocked, and Schefter comes out of there with it. Long pass is stolen by Tim. Emmy Tim running the court. 3-on-3. Finds a player down there. Wolf, the 2 freshmen work together. Here's a 3 ball by Nielsen, and she knocks it home to make it 31-19.
Man, yep, we left the shooter open, and even before that, Tim would just watch that play of Fangmeyer the whole time. She just watched her eyes and, stole that ball away to set that play up.
12 points for Nielsen, and now they get it into Schefter. She works off the glass, can't get it to fall, and there come the Eagles with the board.
And the last time we scored was when?
It has been a while. Great point. We only have 2 points in this third quarter, and there's a turnover off of Wolf. Wolf doesn't like it. One of the things that Coach Hubert talked to me about yesterday, he said this team is as competitive a team as he's ever coached. He said when they do their skills competitions against one another in practice, he said it can be brutal. And I think you're seeing some of that. The frustration showing a little bit on this team as there's a pass that goes off the hands of Arlington. It'll be Blue Jay ball. You're seeing a little bit of that competitiveness, hyper-competitiveness coming out a little bit.
Yep, definitely.
And now Coach Hubert says, let's take a timeout. With his team sputtering here offensively, down 31-19, 2:41 to go in the third. And Kendra, again, walk me through your head coaching experience. You've had teams that have shown some frustration. They lose some composure. What do you do in these timeouts to try to calm them down a little bit?
I think it is the communication. Like, you have to control what you can control right now. Like, you can't control what the refs are going to do. You can't always control what they're going to do. You have to control yourself right now. And oftentimes, sometimes players try to do too much. They try to do their role and somebody else's role, and then emotionally, try to either calm them down or build them up, whichever one. And I think it's just like, everybody do your job right now, and things will fall together.
And let's pull in Elliot Gosson, who's absolutely it's been in these situations too as an athlete. I'm curious to get the student-athlete perspective. You've had these situations where you're feeling frustrated. How do you get yourself to calm down, Elliot?
You just got to know that being frustrated, you're not going to get anything out of it. And you got to stay calm because that's the only time good things will happen.
And good point there. And then the Arlington Eagles come out, Kendra, with tremendous defense. And Reagan not able to get that ball in. And so it'll be Arlington ball.
Yeah, did they have everybody covered?
They did a great job. Sometimes you gotta give credit where credit's due, and that went off the hands here. They're going to say of Arlington, and the Blue Jays might have got a little bit of a break there, but give credit where credit's due. They did a great job defending that time.
Yes, absolutely, they did. Unlike Creighton in Texas the other night when Creighton let a guy go, it didn't happen for us, I guess. So, good move, Bree.
Good pass inside to Schefter, not able to get it to fall. Craven looks, goes hard, off the glass. She's fouled. It should be a bucket. Yep. They're going to give it to Reagan, and it's now 31-21.
Well, if you're not going to shoot from the outside, you might as well take it inside. Do something. That was her mother, by the way. That was her mother, everyone. That was her mother's voice of the broadcast. Sorry, that was supposed to be an inner comment.
Well, you know what? Here's the free throw. Off the glass. She banks it home. And
no.
you got to love that. And nearly is still in the backcourt. But Emmy Tim gets it. Now we got a whistle and a timeout. As Arlington wants to talk about it, Coach Brin, Luke Brin. By the way, Luke Brin been in his 10th year of coaching here at Arlington. He is currently in his 6th year, but this is his second stint. He did 4 years earlier, took a little break, said I needed some time off, and he did so, and then came back, and now he's in year number 6. So he's got an incredibly young squad, and the future looks bright there for Arlington.
Yeah, he definitely does. And, and also filling out that coaching staff is Leslie Googles. So her daughter was the Gatorade Trackster of the Year and is out at Iowa State. I'm going to throw that one out there. Amazing trackster, 300 hurdle champion,
Yes.
100 hurdle champion, high jump maybe the year before.
Yes.
Lauren beat her out this year, but she's also on their staff.
Absolutely.
Coaching staff. So.
And she did not play basketball a year ago, if I remember correctly.
She was, I want to
think
say
Coach
she was
Hubert
hurt.
said she
she
didn't
was
play,
Yep.
and so did play hoops the year before that. But Coach Hubert has a lot of respect for her. He brought her name up in our conversation as well yesterday. So Blue Jays here, though, Kendra got a little bit something going, down 9.
Well, after you bank a free throw, you got all kinds of. I'm just reminding
Good
Kevin
karma.
Colson sitting right here, so I'm never going to hear the end of that.
So here we go. There's the pass in the backcourt to Tim. The trap just not there, and they're going to call Laughlin for riding her there with her right leg. And so that will be the 4th team foul on the Blue Jays. And so here comes Tim, just working to get straight man-to-man, gets past Laughlin. Blue Jays down 9, trying to come up with a big stop. They get it in the paint. There's a whistle and a travel. As O'Daniel took it a little bit too much of a step that time.
So the Blue Jays have had a couple stops here and held them. So if we can get another shot off, we could, potentially pull this within 7.
Comstock gets it off here. This is Emma Keith dribbling with that left hand layup. No. And the rebound coming down to Arlington. You can tell Emma's gotten very comfortable with that left-handed dribble, but here's a 3 ball that's banked in. They return the favor. Macy Wolf back up to 12 for Arlington in the lead. Here comes Keith, really comfortable, and here comes Reagan Craven. 3 ball, a bit too much. Who's going to track it down? Laughlin with the save to Comstock, but they said Paige, when she dove to get the basketball, may have touched the out-of-bounds line, and so it'll be Arlington ball.
Would have been nice for the Blue Jays to get that there to try to even cut it, even though they had a huge shot there by number 4. I don't remember what her number that hit that 3-pointer, kind of dampered things a little bit for the Blue Jays. Ooh, I thought she traveled.
She might have a little ball fake. Because Comstock come up with it. No. She taps it out of bounds. Almost got the steal there, did the junior, who also had Paige Comstock coming off a really terrific softball season as well. Here's the inbounds, and Schefter just runs in to Libby Hageman.
Is that her 4th, 3rd,
And
or 4th?
that is a good question. I have got her for 3, and she does have 3. I'm rarely right, Kendra, but that time I was.
Hey, you're right a lot.
Here's a backdoor cut.
Doesn't your wife tell you that all the time?
Right. The Blue Jays with tough defense underneath the rim, but they knock it out of bounds, so it'll remain Arlington ball. Here comes Keith in the game. Schefter will exit with her 3rd foul. 57 seconds to go here in the 3rd. Wolf looking, gets the inbounds, feeds Tim, and nice shot by the freshman.
Wow, that was a great move again by Tim. Just laid it up.
Great future for her. And here's a pick here, and Comstock going to try to find Presley Harms inside. Here comes J.C. Fingmeyer, misses off the right side of the rim. Blue Jays battling for it. We got another tie-up, and it will be Ashland-Greenwood ball.
Mark had said at the halftime, one of the biggest things was just the field goal percentage, and we're starting to see that even in this quarter too. They're just knocking a lot more down than we are. We're taking shots, but they're not falling.
That's right. And, you know, I think, and we'll talk to Coach Hubert in the halftime of the boys' game, but if you're Coach Hubert, we've gotten some good shots off.
Yeah.
We just got to hit them.
Yep, absolutely.
And here comes Keith, and she's fouled on the way to the rim. She'll go to the line to shoot 2, and she'll shoot them with her left hand.
And you wonder, some of them have been a little short, you know, so you wonder how much of that is, you know, maybe fatigue, you know, being early on and having to play so few right now in foul trouble and things like that, but never know.
So Emma Keith puts this free throw up and knocks it home. She is now 2 for 3. Remember, folks, if you just joined us, she is a right-handed shooter, but an injury to that right shoulder has really propelled her to learn how to shoot with her left hand. And she'll give it a go here. 2 for 3 on the line, just off. And the rebound coming down to Arlington. Hegeman.
I like how Emma finds a way to make it work, though, so if she can help her teammate out by driving. Oh, good
There's
job.
a charge, and it's Emma Keith. Right on cue, Kendra.
Right on cue. Again, finding ways to help contribute to her team in any way she can. And, yeah, she queued us up nicely for that. Thanks, Emma. I appreciate it.
Here come the Blue Jays against this pressure. And it's a baseball pass down there for Harms. She's going to try to dump it off to Keith, and it's stolen. She just needed to get a little closer to the rim to get that defender to commit to her.
I wish she would have just taken it herself.
And now here comes Tim with 4 seconds, 3 seconds.
Come on,
The
Paige.
freshman off the glass
Get it.
against Comstock. Good job by Comstock on defense. Forces the miss. And the Blue Jays down 36-23 heading into the final quarter.
Well,
So, Kendra, you're a little bit out of breath. It's early in the year, right? I mean, these two teams are running up and down the court. But the Big Blue, as we mentioned, doing a good job of getting the shots they want. They're just not falling.
yeah, I think that's just it. Is, you know, it would be, you know, I obviously don't know what it would be, but man, we are putting up shots. Just can't quite get them to fall. You know, I think early in that first quarter, you know, with Bree Shefdorf and JC even and Paige, we had a lot of shots up and a lot of things going our way. And since then, it just hasn't. You know, so. But that's, I mean, they're still working. They're still trying. They're still getting shots up. Now we just need them to fall.
You know, one of the things that I asked, you know, Coach Hubert yesterday, I said, finish this sentence. For us to be successful this year, we have to do what? And he said finish. Now, look, 36-23. This is going to be really tough. But I think what he's going to want to see here is them to win that fourth quarter. Whether they come back and give enough to win this game, that's one thing. But I think he's going to want to see this start to this whole idea of finishing to win this fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, and it's very possible. You know, 8 minutes. This is a long time. We're not down. You know, down 13. Not a lot of buckets. We've got plenty of three-point shooters. Not that we have to do it that way, but something they can do. So.
And on this next break, when we get a break in the action, we'll kick it over to Elliot Goss and get his thoughts on what he's seen here tonight. Here's a three ball put up by Arlington. Ball is going to be knocked out of bounds and off of the Eagles, so the Blue Jays will get it. Elliot, tell me what you've seen here through three quarters.
Definitely the Blue Jays have struggled with fouls, especially since having a couple players out and just don't have the depth. You can't be just giving away fouls and keeping girls off the court.
That is a great point. The Blue Jays have had some foul trouble tonight, but Shefdorf for a three ball.
Oh.
Just a little off, and it'll be Arlington ball.
Again, good look. She had a wide open look. She took it. She needs to take that shot every time.
Without a doubt, you are right.
Whoa.
And boy, did they have someone wide open that Kendra saw underneath the hoop. The Blue Jays got their hands up in the air.
That was my telepathic defense.
It worked.
Yeah.
And Arlington with a 13-point lead here. In the fourth quarter, Arlington lost Thursday night to West Point, and they make an errant pass. It'll be Blue Jay ball.
All right, let's go. Let's score here. Let's go.
Gertis is going to check in the game. Emma Keith will check out. So the Blue Jays early in this fourth quarter have Gertis, Shefdorf, Paige Comstock, J.C. Fangmeyer, and Reagan Craven. Under 7 minutes to go. Here comes JC. Crossover dribble. Left hand in the paint. Off the glass. And it falls.
Wow, that was just such a great series for Fangmeyer there. Nice dribble right to the bucket. So smooth. Love to see it.
Pressure really picking up here in the backcourt. Tim got it across the line. Here's a pass underneath. Here's Arp. Left-handed layup. Smooth as butter that time.
You know, and I think the Blue Jays did what they were supposed to do, but, you know, Arlington, actually their full court offense worked a little bit better.
Here's a timeout by Coach Hubert. But to your point, Kendra, you're dead on with this. Look, there have been a couple of situations tonight. The Blue Jays have done exactly what they should do. And frankly, Arlington has just out-executed a little bit. I mean, they've just been tough, and when you execute that well, good things are going to happen.
Yep. And sometimes I think, too, that's where a lot of times frustration comes in, because you're like, man, we did that exactly how we were supposed to do it. But then, you know, sometimes your X's don't match their O's and vice versa, so then you got to switch it up a little bit again. So, you know, one misstep here or there, but you got to give it to the Eagles on that, as they've executed a lot of things very well today.
You know, one of the things that we've been talking a lot about tonight is Emmy Tim. You know, Coach Hubert said, look, she might be one of the best ball handlers we face all season. She's just a freshman, and she has really done a great job. But with that, I think of someone like Paige Comstock, who has been on her all night. And Emmy Tim's gotten some points, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. She's gotten 11. But my goodness, had it not been for the defensive effort, what kind of night could she have had?
Yeah, and I think we'll hear throughout the year when other teams are playing her. I definitely think we're going to hear a lot more than that. So, to your point, you know, great job by both Paige, and then I think sometimes JC if Paige is not in there. But Paige is in there most of the time. She doesn't get much of a break. Nice
Good entry feed to Reagan Craven off the glass. Good look by Comstock. It's 38-27.
Talk about execution. That play was executed extremely well from the Blue Jays right out of that timeout.
5 points for Craven. Blue Jays down 11. Here in the fourth quarter is Emmy Tim. Works on the right hand, got a good pick. Not doing much with it. They'll be patient now, won't they, Kendra?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we might see them taking the air out of the ball a little bit.
Wolf, step through, shot, up, no good, and there we go.
We'll take that, because then maybe we won't get so many fouls, and gives us a little breather to set up a little bit.
Probably not the coach or the shot that Coach Bryn wanted, as Gertis finds Fangmeyer off the glass, won't go, and a rebound down to Tim.
Not a bad idea. I think JC rushed that a little bit, but I like the ball movement.
She finds Wolf, does Tim. Wolf pulls it out very alertly. Crossover, working against Comstock. Step through, Euro step won't go. Who's going to come up with it? Harms. Couple of shots that went up pretty quick for Arlington.
Yeah, guess they're not going to. They're just going to play. Gives a chance to Blue Jays. The more shots they miss, and we got to come down and make ours now.
And in fairness, here we go. Fangmeyer, 3-ball, no good. I am just dying to say bingo.
I know.
Here's the long outlet. Wolf, left-handed layup. It's blocked by Reagan Craven.
Or something.
That was all ball. Mom won't give her a break. Back the other way comes Craven. 38-27. Blue Jays battling, just can't get it to fall. How about Gertis? And it won't. And Arp will pull down the board.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a shot we wanted, but it was a good shot. You know, anything would put us, three-pointer would put us within 8. So.
Well, I tell you what, Arlington has a good quarterback on the floor. So do the Blue Jays. It's been fun to watch tonight. The Blue Jays have several of them. But here's their quarterback. That's stolen by Paige Comstock. Paige pulls up, gets control, looks, takes your time. Take your time, Paige, and she finds Craven.
Nice job there by Paige.
Really good defense. She is battling. Let's see if the Blue can come up with. Paige says, I'm going to try it.
Oh.
And that one just fell a little short. And to your point about being short tonight, and the Blue Jays have been short a few times, you know, when you're given as much energy as you are as Comstock and these guards, you know, it takes a toll on your legs, and you can be a little short on some of those long shots.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the last 3 trips down, we put up a lot of three-pointers and not working, but the play that before that, we had a nice entry pass to Craven. It was after a timeout, but inside, I'm wondering if maybe we should push some of that instead of just launching these threes. You know, we've got 3.5 minutes.
That's right. Blue Jays down 11. They need a stop. Arp deep in the block, and Presley Harms with a block. And it'll remain Arlington ball. Harms will exit. In comes Emma Keith. Blue Jays desperately trying to get the ball back here late in the fourth. Bounce pass underneath, tie up, possession arrow, Big Blue. So the Blue Jays fighting hard here in the fourth.
Yeah, and maybe just a little bit chance here as Tim gets a little breather. Well, and now we have a timeout, so that might be her only breather she gets. She might be checking back in within no time. But last time the Blue Jays came out after a timeout, they scored. We had it on the sideline, so a little bit different play, obviously. But, yeah.
And how much, Kendra, does it help? Arlington, of course, getting that game Thursday night. I'm going to keep a very close eye on this West Point team because I'm impressed with Arlington. I think their guard play is terrific.
Yeah.
Britt Nielsen's a nice scorer as well. But having that game under your belt from a coach's perspective, does it mean anything?
Oh, yeah, a ton. You get a chance to try out everything, work out some of those jitters. Again, just kind of what we talked about early on in the broadcast, just playing in front of a crowd, just running some of the plays, making those errors for the first time, and just so it's huge just to get that first one out of the way.
And Elliot, as a cross-country runner, that first race out of the gate, it's a lot harder than when you're running in late October, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about that.
First time you line up and hear the gun, it's just everyone goes. Everyone's got the adrenaline. Everyone's trying to go fast. And it's hard to keep yourself cool. It's hard to keep yourself cool in basketball, football, any sport the first game and the first time you go through it.
Both these teams doing a great job, though, as there have been some good tempo. You may see 38-27, but they have been running and gunning tonight, getting up the court quickly because of this pressure. Speeds everything up. And there's Comstock. Gets it out to Keith. Good baseline drive.
Wow.
Can she finish? Just missed that little reverse layup. And there's Arp on the board.
Again, nice play. Nice job by the Blue Jays, but just couldn't get that shot.
Emma Keith coming off a terrific season a year ago. And had a nice baseline drive there. Coach Hogue, the assistant, off the bench. He's yelling some instructions here. And does Fingmeyer get the steal? Does Comstock? No, Keith does. And she's running out of there with it.
Oh,
almost travels. Finds Laughlin. Back up top they go. Comstock, open three ball. Bingo!
And now just an 8-point game in just a little under 3 minutes.
Gotta love that. And oh, did that feel good for Paige. And here's a skip pass. We got a whistle. And a timeout before the near turnover. They give Coach Brin the timeout. 38-30. We talked about finishing. The Blue Jays here with an inspired effort here through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I just have this feeling with them. We actually talked about this in volleyball, and it's a lot of the same players. And I know they did the same thing in softball and things that these girls don't quit. They play all the way to the end. So I'm not fazed by this at all. Like, this does not surprise me one bit.
Me either. And, the focus, like I said, with Coach Hubert this year with his squad has been, look, we've got to finish. They lost 4 games last year in overtime. 4 games in overtime. And even though they had a marvelous season, he knows that what they really kind of lacked was just that killer instinct, in those last 4 minutes of a game. And for however this turns out, this is what he wanted to see from the fourth quarter from his squad.
Yeah, and again, this is just the first game, so there's a lot to grow and build on, but yeah.
And they try to get it down to Tim, and good call out of the timeout by Coach Brin. And almost losing the ball is the freshman as Comstock continues to harass her. Nielsen to Arp, right-handed layup. They got the bucket, making it 40-30.
Yeah, and again, we had him right where we wanted him, but the Eagles, they don't get shook either. They do a nice job of just staying poised and playing through it.
Arlington crowd chanting defense. Can Fangmeyer make it happen? She goes in, there's a whistle, and they're going to call a block. And the reason the fans are yelling offensive is JC did take that left arm a little bit, kind of extended out. She knew she was going into some serious traffic, didn't she, Kendra?
She did, but I'm smiling because I absolutely love it. I love the fact that she went in there and she knew she was going to go into some traffic. She had 3 people, and it did not phase her. And, I mean, they didn't even move her.
You know what it reminded me of, like a fullback just crashing in the offensive line. You saw it coming. You saw the look of determination on her face. Here's Fangmeyer's second free throw won't go. And she said, I'm taking on the bigs. I'm going right at them. And the second free throw missed, and then there's going to be a whistle on the Blue Jays. But I love that mindset. She's tough.
Yeah, not a bad foul, I think, there by Jada Laughlin. Just trying to get the rebound. Now we're within 2 minutes and down by 10. And, you know, Jada just trying to get that rebound.
They get it out quickly. Nice job beating the pressure, do the Eagles. And they'll work it off that near sideline. Fangmeyer comes up tightly on Tim. Tim with a little push off as well. So a little tit for tat there. And now they'll continue to work. 40-30. And Coach Hubert wanting, I think, a foul, and he'll finally get one, and that'll put him to the line with 1:32 to go. Coach Hubert now talking to his team on the bench. He's saying, hey, look, guys, we've got a foul at this point in the game. And so he's going to send in Reagan Craven. And out will come Emma Keith. Wanted that foul about 30 seconds earlier, didn't he?
I need that code word. I don't know what that code word is for. I always think of Auburn's Coach Weeks when they don't have any timeouts when he had that red hat.
Yep, Kendra's referring to Coach Jim Weeks down there at Auburn. Here's the free throw. It's up and it's good. And Kendra, explain to the listeners here what he does with that red hat.
When it's down at the end of the game and it's end of the wire and they don't have any timeouts left, he puts on a red Nebraska hat so his players know that if they're in trouble not to call a timeout because it'll be, what do you get, a technical on that, I
That's
suppose?
right.
But, yeah, this year playing Ashland.
Both, yeah, that's going to be a great game.
Flying.
That's it, sure did. In that championship game, what a game it was. Of course, Michigan with the Fab Five having that timeout called in the championship game.
That's right, yep.
And so here come the Blue Jays down 12, and the ball knocked out of bounds by Emmy Tim. Here come the Blue Jays, right in front of their own bench. They get it around to Comstock. Page, dribble drive, cut off there by Wolf, the other freshman. Here's a 3-ball by Schefter, and it's too much. And there's Arp with good hustle, tracks it down. And now a whistle and a reach in, and that'll put the Eagles at the line to shoot another 1-and-1, up 12.
Yep, and they just, nice job as they got it into the hands of Tim as quickly as they could, and Blue Jays got the foul as quickly as they could.
4th foul on Laughlin, as I mentioned, 8th team foul on the Big Blue, and here comes Tim. And she'll knock home the first one. She is a perfect 4 for 4 from the line tonight. Presley Harm checks in. Don't forget, we've got Ashland-Greenwood start the defense of their state championships a year ago. There's a miss by Tim. They'll be playing Arlington after this. I'll be joined with Jordan Wallman and Elliot Gossett for that one. And here's a lob pass in the paint down on the block. Comstock dribbling, working against Wolf. Lost the handle momentarily. Skip pass over to Harms. Harms with a good look to Craven. Reagan, dribble drive. It went off the foot of Hageman. 35 seconds to go. Blue Jays going to drop this one here tonight. But, man, good 4th quarter for Coach Hubert's squad. Comstock drops it off there to Schefter. She's got her wide open. Page, just off the front of the rim. There comes Craven.
Oh. She's done more dribbling it off of other people's feet than she has the floor tonight. That'd be Reagan, by the way.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, she's worked hard tonight. Just a sophomore, getting a start. His team will continue to learn and get better. One thing we saw with Coach Schubert's squad a year ago is, boy, they got better every week, didn't they?
Yes, absolutely. And I think, we're going to continue to see that this year, too, with this squad. As, again, not a bad start.
Here comes Reagan. Missed that 3-ball with 10 seconds to go. And let's see here if Arlington will just dribble it out, and the Blue Jays will let them. With 4 seconds, 3. Yep, JC's just going to follow her up the court. And a well-earned game victory for Arlington tonight as they beat the Blue Jays 43-30. And they will even up their record at 1-1. The Blue Jays will fall to 0-1 on the year. And by the way, we'll have Coach Hubert at halftime of the boys' game. He'll dissect it and break it down for us a little bit. But in the meantime, Kendra, give me your thoughts here on this this victory tonight for Arlington.
You know, I think they are I'll be honest, a little bit tougher team than I thought they were going to be. I only really have seen them just in the volleyball season is all I really have to compare them to. But what I saw, come out for the Eagles is just great execution, and they've got some great ball handlers and obviously some really good shooters. And they just, no matter what the Blue Jays would switch up to do, it seemed like they always had an answer for what we did. And Blue Jays, they had a great first quarter, but I think there are just some things, Olivia Pike is a big contributor to this Blue Jay team. And this was the first game without her, so we had to make some adjustments even just right off the get-go. It's kind of like Nebraska volleyball this year. I think every match they play, Coach Cook is making an adjustment to a new starting lineup and things like that. So, even just that, as I know their whole preseason, they've had Olivia out there, playing and things and making those adjustments, and the Blue Jays I think did well with that. So, but she would have helped and contributed quite a few points for the Blue Jays. And
that's something for sure to keep in mind. We talked about at the top of the broadcast all of the injuries that Coach Hubert is dealing with right now, and boy, there's some real key players that could have played a role tonight, and hopefully we can get them back as the season continues. Elliot, your thoughts here on the opening game here for the Blue Jays?
I'm going to start with Arlington played a very clean game. There were some fouls at the start, and overall they played more clean than the Blue Jays did, and it really helped them. And for Ashland, they're getting the shots that they wanted, but they just weren't going in. So sometimes you just got to keep shooting.
Well, one thing, Kendra, we talked about is finishing, and we're going to just wait here a few more minutes, see if we can get Mark Adell's stats up here. But, look, the Blue Jays didn't lose that quarter. It got very interesting at one point. They cut it down, I believe, to 7 in the fourth after trailing by 13 going into the fourth. And they got after it, and I think that's one thing that Coach Hubert can take away is he wants his team to learn to finish. They played a tough fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree. I think the second and third, if we could take maybe those quarters out, which you can't, you can learn from them. But I would agree. I think the first, the Blue Jays started off well, and they ended well. And so that's a great thing to take with into the next games. Sometimes teams don't start off well and they don't finish well, and I think that's something the Blue Jays did do well tonight, which, as you said, was something he wanted to focus on. Now it's maybe that middle game.
That's right.
But you know what? For our first game, again, I think they did some things extremely well.
Well, one thing here, let me give you a rundown of the individual scores. Mark will give us the team stats, but J.C. Fangmeyer, she ended up with 7 points tonight. She and Bree Scheftor each had 7, so they were the leading scorers. And then you had 5 points for Paige Comstock, 2 for Jada Laughlin and Emma Keith. Reagan Craven had 5 tonight, and Lauren Gertis, she had 2 points as well. So here we go. We got Mark Adell. Mark, we'll let you wrap up here with some stats in this game.
Well, in short, the object of the game of basketball is to put the ball in the basket, and we did not do that often enough.
That's right. You got to do that to win, right?
That's right. We were just 11 for 44 from the field, 25%. And it gets worse. Just 2 of 21 from 3 for 9%. And as I said, Coach Hubert's offense is predicated that you can knock down some threes.
Yeah.
Opens things up inside. We haven't been doing that. Just 6 of 15 from the line, 40%. And you're just not going to win with numbers like that.
Right.
It looks like Arlington shot lights out, but really it's due to shot selection. They were 15 of 31 when they shot. They were pretty efficient. 48%, 4 of 8 from 3, 50%. 8 of 13 from the line, 62%. Rebounding, we out-rebounded them 24 to 22. but we had 11 offensive rebounds, but we didn't do much with them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to be able to put them back or either kick it out and hit a shot, and we did not do that. Turnovers. It much improved there, 13 to 15 for them. So, I don't know. Sometimes I heard Coach Hubert say, shoot it like you mean it, going into the fourth quarter. And too much of the time, we were just throwing up the ball in the general direction and praying. And they've just got to, how you do that, you work, but you just got to, sometimes it's just got to come. Have confidence in yourself and confidence in your shot.
Mark, thank you so much for those insights. We appreciate it. And, the Coach Hubert's team, they will be working hard on those improvements. All right, Kendra, we're going to give you the final say here of this Blue Jay loss to a really up-and-coming Arlington Eagles squad.
Yeah, I think we are going to see a lot, just looking through the conference and the teams that we have in the conference. I think this Eagle team impressed me tonight, and I think we're going to see them finish pretty strong in the conference. And on the flip side, I think we're going to see the same thing for the Blue Jays. I can't wait for these two teams to meet up again, hopefully in a conference championship final. I think that you could be a strong potential. I think we're going to see a different Ashland team face them. Because this group doesn't give up. They just continue to work hard and they continue to prove. They're a group that you tell them what to do and they try to execute it, and they'll just continue to get better. And so I think for a first start, there are things that could have been better, but they actually did pretty well coming out the gate. So.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Coach Hubert's squad as the season evolves. And so the Blue Jays dropped this 43-30 loss to the Arlington Eagles. The Blue Jays now 0-1. The Eagles improve to 1-1 on the year. Well, for Kendra Craven, it was so much fun working with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm definitely, a little rusty. I said I forget that. Not doing like play-by-play. Sometimes I am like half asleep over here. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to say something.
No.
And I'm never. We all know me. I'm never at a loss for words. But it's just kind of, I just kind of forget what I'm doing. But,
well, you didn't forget at all. You did a great job. It was so much fun, and I'm sure we'll do it again sometime this year as well.
And to your point, it looks like the Blue Jays are in action again at home next Tuesday. JV game, it looks like, starts at 6, and the varsity game at 6:30 versus Wahoo. So somebody will be broadcasting the game next Tuesday. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think I would love to be in a national championship that might be playing on Tuesday. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Tell Sage
Could be
good
Monday.
luck tonight.
I don't even know when it is. I go one day at a time.
But you might need to recover Tuesday. Well, for Kendra Craven and for Elliot Goss and Mark Adele, I'm Tim Washburn saying so long, folks. We'll be back on the air in about 6 minutes.